The fact that Tesla Giga Berlin is ramping up production of the Model Y is a great advantage considering the supply chain, rising prices, and other uncertainties in Europe, right? Tesla Giga Berlin is starting up in a very uncertain times, but one university professor explains the advantages and also disadvantages that Giga Berlin has and what can Tesla do based on its advantages, such as the power over value chain. And I'm going to tell you about that today. Welcome back, dear friends. This is Armen Harayan from TorqueNews.com. If you are here first time, please subscribe to our channel for daily Tesla news and ring the bell so you don't miss my next coverage, and give us thumbs up. I would greatly appreciate it, please. Lori Stewart is Director of Business Studies at the University of Colorado. She gave an interview to RBB24, which is Brandenburg's public radio, and she says the resources and raw materials for production at Tesla Giga Berlin actually exist. The problem is getting them into the factories. People save a lot because of this virus. Now that the virus is abating, there is huge demand for all kinds of products, such as household items, but also cars. This sudden demand is causing the supply chain crisis. In addition, because of the war in Ukraine, many truck drivers are missing in the European Union. Because of these supply problems, it is difficult for Tesla Giga Berlin factory to source batteries from the Tesla factory in Shanghai, for example. Remember last week I talked about just exactly this, because if Giga Shanghai is delaying the production because of the problems and challenges of bringing second shift workers and housing them inside Giga factory, I said this will affect Giga Berlin because batteries are coming from China. And now Professor Lori Stewart also talks about the same issue. Now it is quite possible that the battery factory in Grünheide, Tesla Giga Berlin, will now be ramped up even faster because Tesla all of a sudden will realize that supply chain issues may be there for a long time. And I say, if in this economy, in this global economy, when things can happen unexpectedly, if you want to succeed, bring your supply chain as close to your production as possible. Bring them home. Go back to old times. You don't need to make cars in Germany and produce batteries in China. Build a car battery company and ramp up the production as soon as possible in Germany, in the same city, near Giga Berlin. But even then, Tesla still has to buy many raw materials from many parts of the world. The Giga Berlin plant purchases shock absorbers from the Czech Republic, for example. These and many other car parts are likely to be harder to come by right now. I think one thing that we will see after this virus and all this situation is over is that everything will be localized. Production of Tesla vehicles or other vehicles or large productions of any companies or materials will be as localized as possible. Even I will not be surprised if Tesla goes to somewhere else in China where there are raw materials and start building the battery factory and start building another gigafactory there. In fact, we're getting more and more reports that the next gigafactory will possibly not be in India. If I have time later today, I will report you the details on that. Now, Tesla Giga Berlin factory is just being ramped up. The reporter asked Professor Stewart, is it therefore particularly at risk, Giga Berlin, from the faltering supply chains? She says, I think the fact that Tesla factory in Giga Berlin is just ramping up is more of an advantage. This allows Tesla to plan from the start to work with larger inventories of supplier products and raw materials. The ramp up in particular opens up scope here to deal with logistics problems and a shortage of manpower. Also, if the factory doesn't meet its production target, it will be viewed as negatively because the factory is still being ramped up. Actually, it will not be viewed as negatively because, people will be thinking this factory is just ramping up, so don't worry about that. Now, the reporter asked, what else can Tesla do in Giga Berlin to deal with this situation? I mean, the uncertainties with production, uncertainties with supply chain, rising prices, and the situation in Ukraine. She says Tesla says they make more parts in their factories than other automakers, which is great. As a result, the company has more control over the value chain and can better deal with the current disruptions. In Grünheide, for example, Tesla has installed a Japanese paint shop. Other car manufacturers would probably rely on an external painting company that is close to the factory. Tesla is bringing the paint shop all together under one roof instead, which is very wise, and this is great for the production. This is a very good advantage and I like it. Now, what about the disadvantages? The reporter asks her, and this is what Professor said. For example, you need a larger workforce with more skills. You have to find the right employees for Giga Berlin, then train them and keep them in the company so they don't go away. That costs money and can be a real challenge, especially in times of the current shortage of workforce. She says, and there is another downside also. The more parts you produce yourself instead of buying them from subcontractors, the more difficult quality control becomes. In China, Tesla had to recall more than 120,000 cars. This could be related to quality control issues. Finally, the ability to innovate could also suffer because you are keeping yourself busy with a lot of things. Tesla is considered a very innovative company, but if you produce more yourself as a company, you also shoulder all the responsibility for innovation yourself. If you then have to reach certain production numbers, innovation can quickly slide down the priority list. Cooperation with other companies, which then also take care of new ideas and innovations, is sometimes more effective. You see, friends, on one hand, you want to localize and production of your parts, batteries, raw materials, and as much as possible. So you're not dependent on supply chain issues and rising prices and transportation. On the other hand, you have to shoulder all this responsibility yourself and your innovation may suffer. So it's sometimes more effective if you can be in contract and cooperate with other companies. Which way do you think Tesla should go? Or is there any middle ground here? So you localize everything, but also you work with others in terms of innovations. I would like to hear your comments, friends, on this. Now, RBB24 also asked, Tesla thinks cars more in terms of software than other manufacturers. Does that offer an opportunity in the current situation? She says yes. One example is the chip shortage. In this situation, Tesla simply bought more generic standard chips. They were still relatively readily available and then adapted their programming codes. This is how Tesla, unlike other car makers, was able to react to the chip crisis. On the other hand, hiring enough programmers for such solutions is also a challenge. As already mentioned, Tesla had to recall more than 120,000 cars in China due to software problems. So it's a balancing act. What do you think, friends, all of these developments? What's the ground based on these advantages and disadvantages that Tesla should do? This is Armen Harayan from TorqueNews.com. I'll look forward to your comments. Please like this video, give us thumbs up and share in social media. Subscribe to our channel for daily Tesla news and reports, and I'll see you soon in our next report. God bless you and peace be with all of you.